and welcome back to another episode of the Chronicles of Al Figures. And I am done in terms of cutting up this medieval style prison. And so now I have to just paint it. I still have to magnetize the top here. But I have the working door. I decided to put some bars on top to give it some light for action figure photography or display. And this is yet another piece that will be going into the Great American Toy Show in Taunton, Massachusetts on July 19th. So this is mostly made of scraps, and let me tell you, putting these side walls and back walls together was a pain in the butt. Just took a lot of measuring and just going back and forth to the Proxon, and every single piece had to kind of be edged out. But I like how it looks, and it's very helpful using that technique, especially when a wall is double-sided versus the floor. So this is magnetized back here. So these are the two biggest pieces I had in terms of the rest of what I had here for foam. So was able to put this together, and now my challenge is, and this makes it number 7 for the show. Here the other, or 7 new ones, because I'm putting all these older ones, but 2, 4, 6, that one being 7, excuse me. And so now the challenge I have with the rest of this is all I have for scraps. These pieces here. So the goal is to make a throne. So luckily I have these 2 pieces that'll get me going, and then the rest of this to create some kind of throne. And yeah, I don't know if I'll have all these painted by the time I post this video up. I think it should be episode number 7. But I'll post wherever I am in the process. Just wanted to share this with you guys. I find human beings to be very interesting. I find the internet to be a very interesting place. So I am part of a group on Facebook called Dial Structure, and it's a diorama group, but it's specifically a diorama group created to teach people more than anything. Just sharing tricks of the trade, materials used, just a community to help each other out, not necessarily a community to show off how great your dioramas are. So anyway, I had a conversation with a friend here at work, and she had mentioned if I use ChatGPT, and I don't, I hadn't. And I said, you know what, I said, is it an app? Because I didn't even know. I'm 50 years old, man. I'm I don't know everything that's happening with technology. I know a little bit, but so I said, you know what? Let me check that out. So I go on to ChatGPT, and I put a picture of this dial, the jail cell dial, and I asked ChatGPT to paint it how an old medieval jail cell would look. I got the results, and they look pretty cool. And so what I did is I shared that with that group, because I feel like it's not necessarily a tool that can help me too much, but I think it may be a good tool to help out anyone who's starting up. And most of the responses were positive, but some of them were pretty interesting. Now, in order to leave a comment, you have to be a member, and we do vet you before we allow you to be a member. So one of the comments somebody left, without answering any of the membership questions, was, no thank you, I'd rather use my brain. So not sure how ChatGPT means that I wasn't using my brain. More than anything, I was getting not only a visual of what it would look like according to AI, but testing it to see how it can be helpful for the community at large. And I just found that a very, very interesting comment, as none of this build here was something ChatGPT created for me. It's something I kind of just, out of my imagination, looked at some reference pics of old medieval Gel Cells had an idea of what I wanted to price this at the Toy Con, and away I went. And again, I don't know enough about ChatGPT or AI, but I do know that it can be helpful in the right situations. And I just thought it'd be a good thing to share. Now, I'm not painting this dial the way ChatGPT presented what it would look like. I'm doing it different than that, but I just find it really interesting how humans decide to kind of put their 2 cents in without kind of explaining what those 2 cents are about. But anyway, so here I am. This is the second layer of paint. First one was this granite gray. Now I'm using a dark granite, or excuse me, a dark gray. And yeah, still maybe 3 other levels of paint, some brown wash, a little bit of black wash, and a little bit of green hints here and there. And this will be done very soon and ready for the Toy Con on July 19th. All right, so this is where I am now, where I've progressed to. First thing is the bench. So the bench is all set. Oh, what's that? Oh, wrong bar. The bench is all set. This bench can be plugged in right into there. And what I want to do is I want to take this this chain and come up with a system where I can put the chain from here to the wall. And I think I have an idea that may work. Let's see if it works. I don't know. And then these little parts here, I'm gonna put to where. So these bars plug in here and they plug in there. So I'm just gonna put this little part there, just to kind of give it a little more, so so it doesn't get stabbed into another spot. And then I'm gonna dull out the dowel rods that are kind of sharp right now. So I have 6 of those for the 6 parts. And then what I decided to do last minute was to add this this additional set of bars. And the purpose of it more than anything was so that it's an additional source of light, where you can kind of do something else with some lighting there if you wanted to. I figured that kind of be cool. And then what I also did is I kind of set these bars, or not these bars, but the bars are set on kind of this, so that this can be removed, and it'll be great for let's say you wanted to do like in terms of action figure photography, you can have somebody throwing a rope and trying to help somebody escape. And then the last thing I did recently was this part here. Still got to put a little hole as if a key would go into it, but I wanted it to kind of land right there, so it wouldn't go past it. And so this is where we are in terms of this dial. I'm very happy with the way it's come out. It's looking pretty dope. And I got to do another wash and then kind of some spots of green here and there. And that is where we are. Alright, so what I did is I glued these on there, and I just kind of put these in place so that they won't move around or anything like that. Not that they would, but it's kind of been warm here in Boston. So the next step is putting some kind of grunge and dirt in the corners of the cell. So this is kind of the back of the cell. And what I usually do is I'll just take some Mod Podge, this stuff here, and just kind of coat I'll outline it first. So I outlined it here with a pen, and then I'll just throw some and kind of try to give it the look of how grunge and dirt may be a little spread out. And then this will also reinforce these little black parts. And then over here is kind of that window, so I'll just put a little bit. And then I'll just, and this isn't the color, this is just like some hobby type dirt, and this isn't the color I want for this, so I'll wait for it to dry, and then I'll paint it with a darker brown. And then that's pretty much how I go about creating that little grunge that's going to be in the back of the corner of the gel cell. Alright, so I figured out how to put the chains on the bench and make it modular, which is the biggest thing with these dials, for me anyway. If I can just make a permanent structure, man, that would be the easiest thing in the world, because then it's just this permanent structure. But because of the materials, because these ship out or people may want to store them, I always have to create something that's modular, that's held together by magnets. So last night figured out how to do the bench. So let me just take this apart real quick. So there's magnets here and here, but it's also pegged into these as well. So let's take that piece off. Let's take off the bars, and then we will remove Wolverine, put him to the side, and I'll show you guys. So I also put this in last night. I'm gonna paint it in a darker brown, as that's too light of a color. But what I decided to do with the bench is, first and foremost, this is created entirely out of balsa and basswood, with the bottoms being basswood. So what I did is I just basically took a couple of these dowel rods, and I have this little kit here that I use. Has a lot of metal type pieces, and I've used it over the years. So luckily I had this in place, which allowed me to take this dowel rod and kind of clip that in there, and then I crazy glued that as well, and then this was pegged in. So basically what you have is this, which I think is a good system to have. As originally I wanted to just kind of put something here permanently, but I try to keep these flat, so if you kind of take them apart and put them together, it won't damage other walls. So pretty easy. You just kind of peg this in, and you just peg these guys in, and there you have it. You can kind of twist it around to tighten it up, give it a little more tension in terms of the chains. Let me see here. And yeah, that's how I came up with the bench. So again, just I want to do a couple more dirt patches. I still have to give it another kind of a black wash, some green hints here and there, and this is almost done. And this will be the last dial section or dial update for this video. Alright, so today I want to share with you guys the significance of Transformers in my life. So first and foremost, I love this print. I absolutely love this print. I got it at New York Comic Con 10 years ago and have never hung it up, because everywhere I've lived, I've never had a space to really hang it up. So as soon as I had my apartment, hung it up right away. I love this. I love this depiction of Hound, who was the Jeep for the G1 Transformers. And so over the years I've had, I used to collect masterpieces. I was doing the retro Transformers when Toys R Us was releasing those. I've sold some, I've bought some, and for a while I wasn't really messing with Transformers, but I'm kind of back on it a little bit. So my favorite line is the 86, the Transformers line, which is the closest to G1 that they're kind of releasing now as kind of their flagship models. So I have a Bumblebee. I have and I've always been. Let me take this box out of here. This is the box that came with the Blockies Classic Class Optimus Prime. But I've always loved the tape decks, man. I've always loved Blaster and Soundwave, and when I saw this, I definitely had to scoop it up, and it comes with one of the tapes, which is great. We have a pretty classic Bumblebee, not super classic, because I just saw one the other day. This is dope because it comes with a diorama, but I saw one the other day that's more of the VW, the Volkswagen buggy, that I think I'm going to snatch up. And then these are the Blockies. I've gotten a couple of these. This is Bone Crusher, Constructicon. And then this line was released, I think it was a Walmart exclusive. I have Optimus Prime, I have Megatron. They don't transform. They're just a 6-inch version of the robot, which, for whatever reason, I don't mind. A lot of people kind of get a little upset that some Transformers don't transform. I don't, that's not where I'm at with it. I'm kind of happy to see them in robot mode as well as their vehicle mode. So I only have this shelf for the Transformers, and then when I first started kind of putting this wall together, I had just this frame was the first thing, and then I had kind of the fire escape there, and then I added this shelf here, and on the bottom part of this shelf is a bunch of just little Transformers. These were from the dollar store, some of them. These were actually my son Abel. I don't think the Soundwave came with the Bumblebee. I don't think these particular ones. I believe I got them later. Maybe not. I don't recall. But I used to get them from when he was a kid. I have some. I've always. So I was able to grab this on sale at my local comic book store. Again, they don't transform, but we have yet another blaster and another Soundwave. And then just have this little corner here. And then recently, this was being released by Supreme. I went to buy it and it sold out within 2 minutes. Sold out as I was putting my debit card info. I was upset. So I got it through Marketplace, and I think I paid maybe 15 or 20 bucks more than retail, which I was happy with. But now I had this and I didn't have a shelf. So I'm looking for a shelf. IKEA looking, and then finally saw this one, grabbed this one. Actually, Michelle grabbed this one for me. But what I didn't realize is that it's perfect because it has the grid. I didn't connect it till I put it up. Screwed it in. Then I put the Supreme Optimus, and I was like, oh man, this is perfect. So this is kind of again, not a huge Transformers collection, but this is kind of what I have. Got this recently, which is cool. Again, doesn't transform. Was at my local comic book store the other day, New England Comics in Brockton, and I saw this for 10 bucks. I love Jazz. Again, not a transforming Transformer, but I love this card just in general. Another blockies here. This was the RED non-transforming. Some of the smaller ones. I think this one and this one came Micro Machines or a Hot Wheels thing. I don't remember. That pin I've had. Man, I've had this pin forever. Let me see where you're. 2007. So I bought this pin a very long time ago. It's just been rattling around in my stuff. Finally have somewhere to display it. It was really cool to get a Gears in a retro back type of look. It being a little bit bigger. Also got this at the dollar store, which was pretty cool. And Super 7. These guys are the least articulated Transformers of all time. But I kind of love the whole look here. And then recently just got these two, man. And this is going to be a project and a half. So if you get all 5, you can do Superion. Same thing here with getting all 6 of the Constructicons. So this is a new project that I'm pretty sure is going to take me over a year to complete, as that it's not priority. So this is kind of my little Transformers area. Don't have a lot, but I love what I do have. I just realized I didn't even finish my thought process about the importance of Transformers to me. But anyway, this is a Bone Crusher. So I actually have Bone Crusher in this mode as well as the Blockies mode, which is kind of cool. Just bought another Blockies the other day, and I got this they're blind boxes. But anyway, the significance of Transformers to me, Transformers and G.I. Joes are kind of the two things that made me fall in love with action figures. And I mean, it was a combination of the cartoon series and then Christmas coming and then getting the action figures. It was just such a dope time to be alive, man, to kind of be in the midst of something that has, again, this was mid 80s, and here we are 40 years later and these guys are still relevant. And I just love the fact that you can transform them from a vehicle or a dinosaur into a robot. And, then you had stuff like the cassette players, which was a big thing in the 80s. And I love that. And so my love really for action figures started with G.I. Joe and Transformers in particular, which is kind of cool because the comic book world right now, they actually have they're combining a universe with both of them, which is kind of cool. So yeah, man, if it wasn't for Transformers and G.I. Joes, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be a collector like I am today. And so I'm very thankful for that. And another thing I did want to mention is that one of the things I want to start including in these videos, because again, it's a vlog, and so sneakers, that's another big part of my life. That's probably as long as Transformers and G.I. Joes. This is my current collection. And every once in a while, I will talk about some of my favorite sneakers. And with that being said, the next clip is the newest pair of Air Maxes that I have. So check that out. All right, that was quick, and they are in. And I've always admired these shoes from afar. I've never had a pair. I think my boy Garcia had a pair at some point. But look at the old school Nike box. Ah, man, this is great. All right. Oh, and by the way, I never do this. I always should. These are the Air Max Plus OGs, and the colorway is black and chamois. Yeah, I think I heard somebody else pronounce it that way. Is it pronounced that way? I don't know, but sky blue. Oh man, yeah, these are great. And this is my second pair of Air Max Plus joints, so I know they're gonna fit just fine. But I do love that kind of clear cap there in the front. I think the OG had a little more of a blend, a little more of a darker blue, or more of a blue versus kind of this icy blue here. And I believe the gold popped a little bit more, and this part might have been white, I think. But yeah, these look great. All right, just gotta put them with the rest of the unused sneakers. But I'll definitely wear these this summer at some point. I actually just got a hoodie that's a similar color to this, a Gap hoodie, that instead of it saying Gap in the front, it says Nap. It's pretty dope. You know what? I'm gonna walk it over there just to see if the color is somewhat matching. Let's see. All right. It's not bad. We got the Nap with the Air Max. Let's go.